Hi there, Gemini. Welcome to an abundance reading for September 2024. It's Raina here, and this is a spread I got from a website called emeraldlotusdivination.com, a website. And so I'm going to lay out the cards and then I'll tell you what each of them stands for. Oh, wow. Okay. I wanted to, it's so weird because I feel like I have, it's so strange. This looks too close up. I have it. Okay, maybe I can take this away. This might be. Okay, the first position is your current relationship with allowing abundance. 10 of Wands to me is about, you can see she's kind of bent over and she has the weight of the world on her. And so that would suggest that there is this kind of internalized message that in order to make money, you have to work really hard. For Gemini people, your second house is, or the cusp of the second house is Cancer. Um, oh my gosh, I'm going to pause this for a second. I had to go and check because I could have sworn I just said this to Gemini. But anyway, I think that Gemini people, I'm not going to call you cheapskates because I don't want to offend you, but I think that a lot of Gemini people are probably not big spenders. Prove me wrong. And I wonder, and I never pay attention to the second house, which probably I should have, what sign it is, in terms of how the person may view money. I'm usually just thinking of the sign itself because I don't think of Gemini as a sign in and of itself that is like connected to materialism, let's say. So the 10 of Wands can be like money is a struggle. If you want to have money, you have to work hard. You have to work your fingers to the bone. You might have to work 60 hours a week. You have to do all these things. This is not what the law of attraction says, and I'm talking about Abraham Hicks in particular. Am I an expert in this field? Absolutely not. So that doesn't, you could just say I'm regurgitating things, but I only regurgitate the things that I really believe in. So there's that. But I think I think a lot of these things come from seeing parents struggle and just assuming that that's the only way that we can live. And almost too, I think sometimes the struggle is like, because it's almost like from the puritanical work ethic. This is specific to United States, or the idea of you have to earn every penny. You can't, like basically kind of like not trusting abundance on some level or not feeling worthy of it. That it all ties into that puritanical mentality. Okay, so the second position is how to get yourself in alignment. Page of Swords. Well, first of all, Geminis are part of the swords, all the air signs, which also includes Aquarius and Libra. And this is a card that can actually be very good for research. But it's interesting because you take the initiative on what it is that you want to study. If you're studying abundance. If you've ever read books on manifestation, that puts you into the first of all, it can blow your mind because you can change so much of what has been programmed. But also, it's like it can be really interesting. Some people are not that interested in the subject of money, and so it kind of bores them, or it almost feels like profane to just be that, like you're just some kind of like a greedy individual. But if you look at the end game, which maybe for a lot of people they don't realize it's about freedom, then it all makes sense, because then you can say to yourself, yeah, and then I'll be able to do this and give my talents this way. So there's an altruistic side to it. This is opposing the concept of just being self-serving, in other words. Also, the Page of Swords, she's kind of wary. She's watching her back. So there might be some um, situation involved, and this may be, I'm not going to go into the astrological timing of things, but certainly, well, let's see. Because I wanted to bring up the new moon in Virgo, which is a fellow mutable sign that's also ruled by Mercury. This is, oh, well, that's interesting, because the new moon is falling in your fourth house of home and family. Aha. There's a very interesting thing, because as I record this on the 1st of September, Pluto is back in Capricorn, and that is your 8th house. So that's what as soon as I looked at that card, I thought about, somebody watching their back about money. And then you have the new moon in the 4th house, which is home and family and can be mother. So there could be some developments there somehow, specific to the month of September. So now we're going to talk about the 3rd position. So, those are ways to get in alignment. So being aware of what is going on around you and research. The 3rd position, an energy I need to integrate to have an enlightened perspective of abundance. The Fool card is about 0 point. It's about uncharted territory. And maybe you've been trying to go the same route and that old saying, if you do the same thing the same way, you'll always get what you've always gotten. So maybe you have to do something completely different, or go on a completely different path to achieve what you want to achieve. And you may have no idea what's going to happen. And this person is looking to the heavens, and it's like they're on the edge of a cliff. But the sun is behind them. And so there's that sense of positivity, radiance. The gold background can be a form of empowerment, self-empowerment. So the 4th card is current blessing I should be grateful for. 4 of Pentacles can be financial security. Now, financial security doesn't mean that a person has $1 million in the bank. It doesn't have to mean that. It can simply mean that you have a few months worth of expenses. Savings for expenses, if you were to lose your job or something like that. Or something, some kind of security. It's really an illusion, to say that we have security merely through monetary means. You know, you can't cheat death because you have $1 million in the bank. And I mean, not to say that death is really real, but I'm just saying. So the point is that part of the manifestation process is being grateful for what you have right now. It's so easy to just see what you don't have and not to realize that, because sometimes people, they do have a certain amount of resources, but they are comparing themselves to somebody else and they don't have that many resources. Like maybe they have money in the bank, but they don't own a home. Well, as soon as I found out that we really never own property, then it didn't really mean as much, because I mean, you know, you have to pay taxes on the land, you know, real estate taxes. If you don't pay those taxes, you may own your house outright, but you still could have it taken away. And just in terms of repairs and all of that kind of thing. So putting our faith in the material is like ultimately a false sense of security. On the other hand, it is a good thing if you have um, things in reserve. There's no question about that. You don't want to be just living on the edge of life if you don't have to. So there might be things that you have right now that make your life a lot better, that make you feel that if something were to go wrong, you wouldn't just completely not be able to do anything. So that's where you need to start from. And really feel it. Feel that gratitude for whatever it is that you have. Sometimes people say, what should I feel grateful for? Well, you know, the fact that you're able to watch things on a computer or on your phone, that you have that leisure time, that you have a phone, that you have internet service. I mean, that may seem superficial, but it's something. Believe me, there are people that don't have that. And then the last card is what you should be investing your energy into to attract abundance. And this is the Knight of Pentacles. This is a very interesting one for me to pick as the card representing this position, because the Knight of Pentacles is connected to Taurus and it's a workhorse energy, which means that it symbolizes a person who is doing what they need to do day after day. And the reason that this to me is a great card for this type of reading is that a lot of times when people talk about manifestation, it seems very woo-woo, and it doesn't seem like it's about anything like this. And I would say the opposite. I think some people who are, you know, too immersed in the material, the idea of the law of attraction or any of those things may just sound like a bunch of crap, because they just believe in this, like the hard work that takes, the effort that you put into something. And there are plenty of people in this world that work their butts off and they don't have sometimes enough to pay their bills. They might work 40 hours a week and they still don't make enough because their pay is so low. And that to me is criminal. I'm not going to get into some political diatribe or anything like that. But the point is like, I believe everybody should be able to afford the basics in life if they're working, you know, a full-time job. But anyway, clearly, even if you are very disciplined and you show up for work every day, it doesn't guarantee that that's going to happen. But it is definitely, it could be the foundational piece. This idea of like a good work ethic, not just about rubbing your crystals, but something that is just like grounded, down to earth, but also consistent. Gemini is a sign that I often depict in my thumbnails as a fairy, like kind of flitting around. It's an air sign up in the air. And Gemini people love change and novelty and get bored very easily. So I'm sure that there are a fair number of Gemini people who switch jobs a lot, just don't want to stay one place too long. And when that happens, it's very hard to build up a consistent rhythm and to have steady paychecks. It might be more sporadic, and then it takes time to get on your feet again, and then you're back and over and over. So I just want to point out that it's super important to value the daily grind and establishing yourself and learning to persevere, because things will build up over time. But at the same time, doing new things. Maybe, you've never thought about starting a business, and that would be, one of the greatest things that you ever endeavored to do. But even in that particular case, it would take time to start, to build that up. And in the meantime, being consistent with some kind of source of earning money. I know it doesn't sound very sexy. It probably doesn't sound very magical, but it could be the way that could be the catalyst for you realizing your dreams. All right, that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. Gemini, if you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.